Coach there with us. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Coach, I realize we're a few minutes behind schedule, so we do appreciate your patience. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
I'll tell Coach Simmons I'm not going to hold it against him that he had us running over today. No, it was a really great game, great environment, 55+ thousand fans down in Orlando. That's why we feel it's the greatest rivalry, in Black college and the greatest classic in all of college sports. But just a great day. Our guys really ended the season on a great note. Obviously, we didn't know it was going to be our last game. Hope that we would get an invite to the FCS Playoffs, but being that it is, we sent our guys out the right way. Guys like Xavier Smith, Chris Fadul, even Isaiah Land, even though he didn't get to play the game, just to send those guys out as winners. They can say they won their last 9 games they have found. They, continue the trajectory that this program is on, and really is painting a bright future for our program. That's really what we wanted to do. And so just tip my hat to those guys. Again, tip my hat to Terry and the job that they've had to overcome this year in a hard-fought game. And but again, just happy for the guys.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Simmons. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Inside the HBC Sports Lab. Congratulations on the season. I was, much like yourself, disappointed in terms of not being able to get the at-large bid to the playoffs. But I saw a video where you spoke to your fans, particularly, speaking about the great season, thanking them for their support, obviously, but the fact that you would make some moves or whatever to make sure that this doesn't happen again. I think that was a little bit about scheduling. Can you expound on that? And in that, is there a framework in terms of the Classic with Jackson State and FAMU? Will that game stay on that date in terms of Labor Day, or is there discussion to move it?
Well, the message to our fans was more about just thanking them for their support. And, me saying that this won't happen again, it really didn't speak to our scheduling methods. It spoke to, us as a program doing what needs to be done to ensure that we control our own destiny. And that's what the vision is here at Florida A&M. And so, as far as the scheduling goes, a lot of that stuff is done years in advance. And so we have a scheduling philosophy here. Don't know if we're in a position to change that as of today in the near future. We just got to control what we can control. And so as far as the Orange Blossom Classic, it's a game that we enjoy being a part of. There have been some discussions. There's one more year on the contract, I think, with Jackson State obligated to it. And then after that, we'll assess who the opponent will be moving forward. We want to keep the game. We want it to stay in the SWAC, but maybe look at some ways to where it's not, where it doesn't have conference ramifications that early in the season. So, but again, we'll definitely assess those things once our new AD, Tiffany Don Sykes, gets in and we're able to talk about the long-term vision for our program.
Back to the game, last question I have for you is closing out the season with Jared Musa in terms of the big game he had in a lot of ways, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, but solid in terms of spreading the ball around to different receivers, catching a touchdown on the play there, and just his maturation in terms of learning how you like to see the game played. Talk a little bit about what he was able to get done in that game.
Yeah, I thought Jeremy played his most complete game. We didn't have many snaps, probably the least number of snaps we had all season, but was 15 of 19. Missed a couple of throws there, but as far as his reads, was pretty spot on with his reads, with his timing. Missed a couple of throws high a little bit, but other than that, I thought he played a really, really sound game. Took a shot there on the big touchdown pass to Xavier in the ribs and had to come out for a series. But came in and gutted it out. And so just looking forward to his continued growth and development. The guys voted him as one of our team captains. And so he's definitely one of our unquestioned leaders of the team. The guys feel really good knowing that he's in there playing for him. He's a hard worker, smart young man, and his best football is ahead of him. So I think the future is very bright here with Jeremy Moose at the helm.
Thank you, Coach Simmons. Look, off season, enjoy your break. Hope to see you during signing day to talk to you a little bit about football as you move forward.
Thanks, Doc.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, how you doing this morning?
Hey, James.
Hey, pretty good. Back-to-back Florida Classic victories. Is it sinking in? What's the thought process? And when you walk past those two trophies, what do you see?
Well, it'll sink in on Thursday when I'm at the dinner table and my family's like giving me hell. So, that's when it really sinks in. But no, it's a great win. And we all know how important this game is. There's old saying that they'd rather go 0-10 and win the Classic than to go 10-0 and lose the Classic. So again, the fact that we're able to win it and have a great season on top of it, really just icing on the cake. So looks good seeing that trophy there, the trophy case in the lobby. And we feel that's what this is rightful place, and we want to do everything we can to make sure we keep it there.
Coach, on Saturday, it looked like I was covering a playoff team. To not advance to the playoffs, talk about the loss that is for the greater picture, for everyone else out there not to see FAMU play football.
Well, I think it's a slap in the face to all HBCUs, right, that we're all worthy team. We're, as of today, the 20th ranked team in the coaches poll. So the guys that coach football, that watch football, that vote on our teams feel that there are 19 teams in the country that have a stronger resume than we do. But the powers that be felt otherwise. And there's some teams that got in that were ranked higher than. There are a lot of teams that got in that we have a lot more wins than. So I think it's a slap in the face to all of us at this level, at the HBCU level. And hopefully that it resonates through our community and that we, speak up like we always have about injustice to our people.
Have a blessed day, Coach.
Thank you, James.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned how disappointed you were not to make the playoff. Is there anything that you would possibly be able to suggest changing about the way in which teams for the playoffs are determined and kind of like how they are weighed against each other?
Well, again, it's voted on by a selection committee. And so I think that's a question for the committee. Do they feel that it's okay to deny a 9-win team with 8 FCS wins and a loss to an undefeated top 5 team and another loss to a Power 5 team that'll play for a conference championship? If they feel that resume isn't strong enough to get into the playoffs, then I think that's a larger discussion. So it's not really on us to change it. We've done what we needed to do. People talking about changing our scheduling or, changing the Orange Blossom Classic and all those things. Well, that would mean that we're the problem, right? We're not the problem. We won 9 games. We did what we needed to do on the football field. I think the problem is the way the committees vets teams and what they consider to be strong points and what they consider to be weak points. And I've always thought that what you do at the end of the season has merit. And the fact that there are 2 teams in the field that both have 4 conference losses and both have lost half of their last ball games, I think that's problematic.
I know it's not lost on you, Coach, that this happened to you when you were coaching at Prairie View. You thought you had a team that was good enough to make the playoffs and didn't make it. Knowing that and you saying that you felt like this was an injustice, do you honestly believe that the FCS Selection Committee or the NCAA as a whole does not respect HBCU football?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that they don't respect it. I'm just going to point to the facts. The facts are that in 2015, we had a football team that had 8 official wins. They took 1 win away from us. They had the nation's top scoring offense. They had one of the nation's most dynamic players who got left out of the field. And then you fast forward to 2019, a South Carolina State team that lost a game to FAMU, who finished the season ranked in the top 25, and North Carolina A&T, who finished the season ranked in the top 25, and to Clemson, who played for a national title. They didn't get in either, with 8 FCS wins. And then you look at FAMU this year with 8 FCS wins as well, a loss to a top 5 Jackson State team, and a loss to a North Carolina team that will play in the ACC championship. And those were the first 2 games of the season to not get in. Again, I see a pattern, right? And so, I'm just a fact finder. I'm a guy that points out facts. Those are the facts. And so whatever we deduce from those facts, that's subjective. But I do think that there's something wrong with the system if those 3 teams aren't worthy of playing in the 2014 playoff field.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Goes to Jeff.
Hey, Coach Simmons, Jeff Lighty Jr. How are you?
Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
I'm good. So I just want to ask you, I'm just curious on how you think. Do you believe that the fact that the MEAC champion, the SWAC champion go into the Celebration Bowl may hurt the conference's chances of a team that doesn't make the Celebration Bowl getting into the FCS playoffs? I know it benefits the Celebration Bowl, benefits the conferences, but do you think a team like yours is hurt because the SWAC and the MEAC opt to go to something else besides the playoff?
Are we eligible to go?
Yeah, you are.
That's all that needs to be said. We're eligible to go. So
I
if
appreciate
it hurts us, then that's a personal decision because we're eligible to go. The Ivies aren't eligible. So there's some Ivy League teams that are undefeated or 10-1, 9-0, 9 whatever. They're not eligible to go because their conference decided they're not going to go to the playoffs. The MEAC or the SWAC has never said their teams will not go to the playoffs. We've said our conference champions won't go to the playoffs. But any other team is eligible as members of the FCS, and we still have that agreement. So if it hurts us, it's not our decision. It's not us that hurts it. We still can go. We're eligible.
Absolutely. And just a quick follow-up on that, I want to ask you about Xavier Smith. Just his game, the MVP of the Florida Classic, and then also just his career at FAMU. Just what has he meant to your coaching staff, your team, your school, your program throughout his career? Well,
Xavier Smith is one of the all-time greats at FAMU, and we've had many. I don't think the brevity of his career will be understood today. I think we'll look back on it years from now and see where he ranks in that pantheon. He's one of the top receivers that ever played, here at FAMU. I think he's one of the top football players that ever played here at FAMU. And what he's meant to this program on and off the field, words can't describe. So special player. Glad he came back this last year, and really going to miss him in this program.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach Simmons?
I'm good, Charles. I'm good. How you doing, brother?
Oh, great, man. And first, I want to commend you with regards to the statements that you made in regards to the playoffs. Very powerful statements. Obviously, Florida A&M, the trajectory of the program is off the charts. And I just wanted to ask, what are some of the needs going into the offseason for the Rattlers?
We need to catch Jackson. That's what we need to do. We need to figure out a way to slow that train down that's up there in Jackson, Mississippi. But no, we're going to just continue to grow the program. Obviously, recruiting is a huge part of building a program. We got to do some things differently, from the administrative side and resources to, provide the best opportunities for our guys, off the field, in the classroom, and just continue to work extremely hard to chase that pantheon that is a SWAC and Celebration Bowl championship. So, we can't rest on our laurels. Yes, the program is in good footing right now, and everyone's excited about where we are, but can't stop here because there's definitely more on the horizon.
No doubt. I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you. Great season.
Thank you, Charles.
Last question goes to Ken Rashad.
Coach, I do want to piggyback on your response with respect to catching Jackson, with respect to recruiting. I do want to ask, and I've asked a couple of other questions, coaches the same question. With the transfer portal having the impact that it's currently having right now with recruiting, how much will you rely upon recruiting players from it as opposed to the more traditional method of recruiting players out of high school, which over the course of their career requires a little bit more development?
I think recruiting is about assessing your needs and addressing those needs. And so, the transfer portal isn't a new it isn't a new creation. Young men have always been able to transfer, it's particularly down to FCS. And so, Billy Joe made a living signing Power 5 and Group of 5 transfers, during his time here. And so it's not a new phenomenon to bring players from 4-year programs. I think the trick is to assess what your immediate needs are, and maybe the older guys can address those needs, and then see where you need more development, and then look to the high school ranks for that development. So I don't think there's one cookie cut answer. I think there's some teams that we play against in the SWAC that are probably going to need to hit the portal harder than we are, possibly. We have a lot of returning guys. We only lose, a handful of guys off this year's team. And so I think it's strategic, and every year is different. We went heavy in the portal last year, more than we ever have, but that doesn't mean we're going to do the same thing this year. So there's no right and wrong answer to that. I think it's all subjective to what your needs are, and we'll assess our needs to see which direction we go in relation to high school versus transfer recruiting.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Coach Simmons, can we get one more question in real quick?
Yes, sir.
Okay, appreciate it, Coach. Last question goes to Keith Hadley.
Hey, Coach, sorry for not asking this question earlier. I wanted to ask the question, do we understand where the breakdown was between the NCAA from the point of FAMU potentially hosting the playoff game to being left out of the playoffs altogether?
I'm not sure. I'm not privy to those conversations. So that's probably more of an administrative question with my AD, Michael Smith, the interim AD, or our president, even Dr. Larry Robinson. We knew that on our end we had to go win a football game. That's what we did. So, those conversations are had at a high level than we are as coaches. And I don't know. I can't answer that to where the breakdown occurred.
Thank you, Coach.
Sincerely appreciate your time on these calls each Monday during the season, and we look forward to speaking with you at SWAC Football Media Day.
Thank you, guys. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. God bless.
Thanks, Coach.